All right. So today's show, we have a very special show today. It's a content or information that which I've been planning from a long time to get it out, but never found the right moment. So I had a mixed idea about how to get this content out, and it just clicked to me yesterday. Why not we do that in a live, direct way where we could have opinion and a conversation about it more than just giving it out in a straight way how it is or how it could be, because things could be, things couldn't be, but we could agree on things, we could disagree on things, but it's all for the purpose of investigation. Okay, so there are different information about some things, so especially as Rob and Kevin were having a conversation yesterday about Admiral Richard Byrd and the Antarctica Treaty. So guys, what do you think about Admiral Byrd?
Big Mason, Chief Mason.
Yeah, he had he had 3 ticker tape parades. I don't know if too many.
Yeah, that. Chief Mason. He's the guy who discovered and verified the Rakia. Long story short, he's the historical figure who verified that the Rakia really is there. His planes crashed into it, and obviously they verified. They probably went up and touched it, tried to chip hammers into it. They probably did everything they could to it.
They lost a tunnel boring machine in there. They were penetrating in this material.
I've read about that.
Yeah, and they needed something to, and base was a day away, so they took about a week, between 5 or 10 days somewhere to go get what they needed, and by the time they get back, it was completely engulfed, and they couldn't get it back out. It was
you go.
They said it was like almost alive.
It regrew itself then. That's what I was talking about that last night. So,
really?
So there you go, Gene.
Okay.
You know about that story too. You've read the story too. You've got more details than I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
literally, here's what I know. They dug in there so far, it was beyond the length of the machine. So they were in there, but then it started regrowing, and so the thing's stuck in there now.
Yes. Yeah. It's crazy.
Incredible, eh?
Absolutely. And and then they took pieces back, and it couldn't. It didn't make the trip back anywhere.
It melted
away into nothing. It evaporated into nothing.
As if it's oxygen. It's frozen oxygen.
Something like that. It's magic.
Yeah, that's what the story is.
It's the barrier we can't get through. So stop it.
And nobody gets out alive. In other words, right? As far as I know, that's where the expression comes from.
Oh, really?
You know what's the red flag? You know what's the red flag with Admiral Byrd? He was into mainstream media. He was shown on the TV, he was shown on the radio. So someone who he could be just a puppet doing his job to give some and some disinformation, or most of it disinformation, because you cannot reach to one level where you are being celebrated. You can see this image. You all guys can see all the images I'm changing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the ticker tape parade. I could be mistaken, but I think he was 33 when he died, very mysteriously, of a heart failure. So they Tesla'd him. They
there you go.
What he had to do, and they pulled him off the screen, I think.
They got rid of him as soon as he made that interview.
Right. Yeah.
Either that, or he's still alive somewhere.
Well,
right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's in Brazil or past the Antarctica, past the 60th parallel south.
Argentina or the deep underground military bases, one of them places.
Right. He's hanging out with Elvis and Bigfoot.
Or Antarctica somewhere beyond the ice wall.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I would not be surprised what they have hiding and who they have.
Yeah.
Hiding.
Who knows what's out there now? McDonald's, at least.
Like Gregory was saying a few weeks ago, he would live to be 800 years old if the world was in order and a beautiful place like it's supposed to be. So maybe there is that capability to live longer, and they are down there hanging out, having a grand old time.
There you are.
I don't know.
Having a good old time.
I can't. I won't disclose.
All good points.
Thank you.
Now, but
Yeah,
Vika
because
brings
he,
up a good point. He was
yeah,
there
go ahead,
to
bro.
deceive. What I take it from just the fact that Vika brings up, well, he's in the public eye,
Yeah.
and obviously the implication is what we know of him is only what they want us to know. So I can't wait to hear what
Exactly.
Vika's going to tell us.
Exactly, exactly. This is what I am trying to get to slowly, because it's because if he's there in the mainstream media and pushing some things, he's there for an agenda. Okay, he could
Yes,
just
yes,
be, and as we have all the evidence of that he's a Mason and everything. So he's
right.
just playing some part, because there's a lot of different information about him and then about Antarctica in about that time frame we are speaking about, the 1958, where also Kevin mentioned that the NASA was formed. So many UFO people believe that it was for the UFO, the Nazis, and these people Operation High Jump, and there were many different things happening in that same time period, and also during the Cold War. Okay, so there's a lot of information, disinformation going on to hide things.
Mhm.
Okay, and it's all pointing out to Antarctica. There's something happening in Antarctica. So what's been happening there?
Ah, okay. So they
Well,
created a big sensation to hide what's really going on. I've got it. I've always wondered what's really going on out there.
everything's a false flag.
Yeah, everything
You
for the
know,
media and the government.
you know,
In other words, yes.
what I have a question. What was John Kerry doing in Antarctica on November 11th, 2016? That was election day. What was he doing there?
Yeah, exactly, huh? You
Seriously,
know,
two,
he's
three
commit.
popes were down there that year. What's his name from the moon had to get medevac out of there. All kinds of nonsense. All kinds of
Right,
craziness
right.
going on down there in those years.
Obviously, commemorating something big in
Yeah.
their community, not our community, theirs.
Right. Yeah.
Right? We're just the peasants.
Yeah, we're the ones paying for that. That's
Yeah, exactly. Right.
what
With our
I,
70%, with our 70% tax rate.
yeah.
Exactly.
I just mentioned that the other day to a friend. He came over to me and said, "Yeah, Dave Weiss is a friend of mine," and I was like, "What?" And we exchanged a couple things. I sent him over the video for Flatten the Curve. So it is 70%. He's a bean counter. He's a money guy, and he told
Uh
me
huh.
years ago. He's like, "Do you know 70% of the dollar in your pocket has been taxed already?" And I
Thank
was like,
you. Thank you
"Wow."
for confirming from a
Oof.
third party.
Uh, t-
I tell people that all the time.
Bro, this was last week. He's on my kids' lacrosse. His son is on my kids' lacrosse team. They've been friends since kindergarten. He's a really good guy.
There you go.
Yeah,
All right. I
and
love
he
it.
and he loved the video, Flatten the Curve. Guys, if you need ammunition to show these anybody bugging you, show them Flatten the Curve and tell them to get anybody high caliber you can against this video. Challenge
Yeah,
them
anybody.
on
Yep.
anybody. So
And you know, and we'll meet it. We'll take what they say and we'll meet it and we'll refute it immediately.
absolutely, that's a shout out to anyone in the audience who wants to start talking or feels comfortable bringing this up front to somebody in their family or friends, whatever. It's not an easy thing to do, but Flatten the Curve is a huge blockbuster milestone. Guys made history with this movie, guys.
Voila.
You did.
Voila.
I had one of my
Yeah.
friends that was kind of I brought up to Flat Earth Spike in the beginning, like 6 years ago, and we've been back and forth for a long time. And I put on the documentary when he was at my pad the other night. We got 55 minutes in. He stands up all mad, walks out the other room. He's like, "Well, I guess I'm a flat earther."
Very cool. Under an hour.
Gold. It was gold.
Can't deny it.
This guy for a long time.
Yeah, and you know what, guys? The more you know of their story, the better off you are, in a way.
Yeah,
In
definitely.
one way, maybe not all the way, but if you know a lot of this stuff, it's easy to see through it once you understand things. Once you start looking.
Yes,
Cool.
absolutely.
Okay, getting back to the topic, you remember the Hollow Earth people also, they love Admiral Byrd. The UFO people, they love Admiral Byrd also.
Yeah, he
So
says a
many
lot of that garbage, right?
yeah. So he was there, he was purposely planted there to have this kind of this information. So
Yep.
My take would be that yeah, what I was saying from beginning, that he was a puppet, and he was into it with these people. Okay, let's read out the Antarctica Treaty. Okay, let's read out the Antarctica Treaty so we can get into the topic. Okay, the Antarctica Treaty System. The Antarctica Treaty and related agreements, collectively known as Antarctica Treaty Systems, regulate international relations with respect to Antarctica, Earth's only continent without a native human population. It was the first armed control agreement established during the Cold War, setting aside the continent as a scientific preserve, establishing freedom of scientific investigation, and banning military activity. For the
Yeah.
purpose of the, for the purpose of 3D system, Antarctica is defined as all the land and ice shelf south 60-degree latitude since September 2004. Okay, so as Rob was saying, like it's only for preserving and for scientific research. As Rob, you mentioned, with so much of resources there, raw material to run the world, and they want to keep it for, so a red flag totally.
Yes. Vika, I just made a connection in my mind. Tesla was a plant as well. We've already covered that. Tesla was a plant too.
Yes.
One thing Tesla did was show the world what is really possible with electricity. Everybody can have it for free from centralized locations, and it's almost like Wi-Fi electricity to every house. Static electricity, okay? And you know what that is? That's a reproduction of all the ancient Tartarian electricity. What they've done is reproduced it from a central location, and it's even more powerful. Tesla's part of Tesla was to inform the public what was really available, and then to hide it forever. Well, that's exactly, if we look at that pattern, that's exactly what Admiral Byrd did. He told everybody that there's vast untapped resources out there, but then he took it all back and we never heard from it again. No different than Tesla. There it is.
That's right. They Tesla'd him, Bird.
Tesla syndrome, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. They
It's,
put him
it's
up
like
there, they prop him up and get rid of him.
It's the fake action. Hey, to the public, hey, look at this.
Yeah.
But psych, we're taking it back. Right? You can't have it. It's there, but you can't have it.
Psych.
There you go, right? Beautiful. Please continue,
Cool.
Vika.
So the main treaty was opened for signature on December 1, 1959, and officially entered into the force on June 23rd, 1961. The original signatories were 12 countries. These are the 12 main countries who really claims that they own Antarctica. Why? Because we're going to see it much ahead. Okay, active in Antarctica during National Geophysical Year. It's a very interesting part too. The most important, Argentina, because it's
Yeah.
near the rim, it's in the outskirts. Australia, same thing, claiming, these people are claiming. Belgium, because was a strong country in that time, and still is. Chile, also because it's on the
Proximity.
outskirts. France, because, yeah, France, because they have connections from before. We're going to see that in the more ahead. Japan also claiming, maybe from 1900s, that they own that part of their part of Antarctica. New Zealand, we know why, very near. Norway, South Africa, the same thing. Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Okay, these countries have established over 55 Antarctic research stations, blah blah blah. So what we're saying to say, everybody is involved in this Antarctica treaty, but there are 12 main players. This flag we see around here is the same thing. The main players who own that part, or claim that they own
Right.
the Antarctica. So there could be many reasons, as we said, UFO, Admiral Richard Byrd, many things. But one of the main
Pyramids.
reason, the pyramids, but one of the main reason they are not giving the right information, or not letting anybody go, is because of this. Okay, the maps, all the ancient maps, extra lands. That's the thing. Because Rob, I remember you and Kevin discussing about Admiral Richard Byrd going and discovering the firmament, and okay, that's also could be possible. But if we are speaking about extra lands and Antarctica is so near, so how could we have the firmament reaching so near? So if the firmament is so near and so low, how could there be extra lands? Because most of the ancient map shows us extra lands to the right and left. Because what we are seeing right now here, the map is Perry's map. I don't know if you guys have seen this map. Perry Rice map is one of the maps also. And what we are showing here, the land below is the extra lands. And what you could see here is a fort. You want to add something, Rob? Here you could see a fort. You see, it's a close
Is
up.
that it?
These are on
It
the
looks like
extra land.
almost like a star fort.
Rob, do you mind?
Yeah.
Rob or Kevin?
Maybe it was a
Yeah.
part of the maybe it was a part of the mission that wasn't explained. Maybe they did go beyond Antarctica and then go beyond extra lands to find the firmament. I don't know, just a thought.
Yes, indeed. From what I understand, this is just from what I understand. The firmament is 2,500 miles beyond the ice ring. So we can imagine this: 2,500 miles, a circumference 2,500 miles, but all around the circle. That's a lot of land. Okay, when we do the volume of that land, that's a lot of land, and that might include this map that you're talking about, Vika. In other words, what's the dimension of this? If Vika, if this shows correct, well then it's out there. So by all means, what's the dimension, right? This edge of the fort, that structure there, how far is that? Where's that supposed to be? What's the dimension of this map?
It's huge.
Here is it. Yeah, here you can see how huge it is. You can see the same map. You see all these are extra lands from these sides. Okay, so that was Pyrenees. We're gonna jump onto the next. I don't know the name of all of them. Okay, here's another map. What you could see.
Look at that.
The land of Sancti. You see, here's a forest. You see
Rivers
the
and
whole forest.
everything.
You see the rivers here.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
can names all these lands. One of the most famous of this is, which are near the South America, is called the land of Tierra del Fuego. Rob, you can translate.
Yeah, of fire.
Lands,
What
lands
is it?
of fire.
Land of fire.
Tierra del Fuego. Yeah, land of fire.
Exactly.
Rob, how many languages do you speak, Rob?
Well, I've studied 8 languages. I speak 4 fluently, and I speak Russian 2 semesters from college. So there you go. I've been around a little bit.
Truly amazing, brother.
And but Vika, he's a linguist himself.
I know.
Right? There he is. He's got English and Spanish and however other languages
and like
and
5
French,
others.
whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I barely get English.
Well, you come from New York. That's another language in itself. Let's not forget that.
I need my own interpreter. Hey, look at look at the folds in the change picture. Look at the folds. You can see the size of things compared to the folds in that paper.
Yeah.
It's tremendous.
Yeah, these are all ancient documents and ancient images. This is nothing new. This is all you can find these and ancient globe maps, also not ancient, the old ones, where you could find literally all these lands on a globe, because they phased it out slowly.
Still
they phased
pushing
it
it.
out.
Yeah, exactly. Vika, where are these maps? What year are these maps from, and where did they come from? What year and where?
Oh, I have these maps saved from long time. I told you all this content, I wanted to get it out from a long time, but I never found out the right time and the right moment and the right way I wanted to do.
Oh,
so
well, here you go.
So I found out a better way would be to do it live with you guys and everyone and discuss it and have opinions and ideas.
Well, gee, we chose the right topic yesterday with the Rakia firmament. Leads right into today. So again, well done.
Exactly. Beautiful. So when I heard yours and Kevin's shows yesterday, and I was like, wow, you guys are discussing also Antarctica. So it all connects also. Okay, you guys can see this map. You see?
Where
I don't know exactly. Oh yeah. You see you see the South America, Africa here. You got Asia, and you got the whole land connecting from here. The whole place. You see animals. You see trees. Everything.
Yeah. Look
All
at
this
that boat.
part.
Looks like one of those dragon boats. Very cool. Yeah. Like a Loch Ness monster boat.
Cool.
Yeah,
I
the
noticed in the
Asian
last
style
one
sampan boat.
they had the right. I noticed in one of the pictures they had the southern tip of South America flattened. Not so
Yeah, I
much
saw
the
that.
point. Just happened to notice.
That was interesting.
Right, a little bit. These are great. Look at the animals they got covered and everything. Beautiful. I'm looking at this on my
You see,
phone.
Rob here, Tierra de Fuego. You see, this is
Yeah,
from
I
an
see it.
ancient.
Yeah.
This is an ancient globe. You see,
Okay. Yeah, got it. Which refers to the volcanoes, Pacific Rim style.
yep. So it was all known for of these extra lands in many different cultures.
Wow.
Okay,
Yep.
What is that?
What?
What is that on the whoops?
which one? The first
On the left there, the last picture. What was that? A tube with some branches coming
what?
out of it? What is
This
that?
one?
Yeah, with the arrow going through the tube on the
Yeah,
left
it looked
with
like an
like a
emblem.
Christmas tree.
No, it looks like an emblem of someone who made that map, and it's like
Oh,
a
okay.
how you see the shield or something.
Okay.
You
Okay.
see, it's
Just
right,
happened
Chile.
to
Here you say
notice.
it's like say it's Chile. It's Chile, Rio de Plata,
Wow.
Argentina.
Yeah. It's obviously Africa on the right side of it, going over
You
to
see,
South
some of
America
these
on the
I
left.
don't know the real
Look
author
at
of these maps,
look
but
at
check this out.
this.
Check this out. You see, all land here. All you see how big is Australia, and it connects to extra lands.
Right.
You see here after Asia here, you see all this is it's it's not there. They could just literally
So that
delete it from the Google Earth, and it doesn't exist. You don't see, they don't show you it doesn't exist. That's what they do.
yeah, there's plenty of that.
They literally hide a lot of stuff on Google Earth, like islands, chain of islands and places entire, and including their fake Antarctica, what they show us, on the base of their
And,
globe. So
and Kevin now knows the shape of Antarctica from last night.
What do you mean, a circle? A ring?
Oh, you don't know the shape of Antarctica? Go on Antarctica. Just on the internet, type Antarctica and look up images and look at the shape,
Okay.
the ostensible. Okay, their official shape of Antarctica. It'll knock your socks off.
Oh, why? What do you mean? Are you referring to like how it looks like a brain and a brain stem?
Ah, there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Are you really? Okay. I saw that. I understand it. Very strange looking.
There you go. Right.
One
There's
right.
no accident there. No accident.
And you know that picture of the saint going to touch God's hand in the brain represents that as well, where it doesn't really touch. Brazil, almost kind of.
Okay.
There's a similarity. I don't know the painting, but you know the one I'm talking about, right?
Michelangelo, you
Huge.
mean?
Yeah, I think it's Michelangelo, where him and God are almost touching hands in the sky.
Right. Yes.
And you can that image is also could be superimposed on the Antarctica as well, where Brazil is not quite touching, and the fingers are not quite touching. There's similarities there between that painting and Brazil with Antarctica, and the brain.
Okay.
And
You mean
all the
Chile?
stuff is hidden.
Chile down there.
Chile, yeah.
Chile
Yeah,
does
sorry.
one. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what you mean. Right.
Brazil in my mind.
all right.
So, similarities are there.
A little bit more on
Yeah.
the Antarctica is the shape of a brain. What they're getting at is it's all in your head, right? That's just
Exactly.
making that connection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just the one they are representing on the globe. It's a fake one. That's why it's there
There
in
you
that
go.
shape, as you say.
It's all in your head.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh, nice. Very
There you
cool.
go. Huh?
So this
Simple
map,
connection.
what we are seeing, it's from the Library of National Library of Spain. You can see here, Biblioteca Nacional de España. You
There you
see,
go.
I don't
Yeah.
know from which date it goes, but you see the whole thing. You see the whole world map. You see a Tartaria here, as in near Russia, the whole Tartaria, and then the lands below. You see Tierra del
Ah,
Fuego, very
Tartaria.
near to, and all these lands. It goes all the way.
Hmm.
It's
Yep.
all
And we
this.
just
This is
blindly accept this new map of the world that they give us blindly.
exactly.
That's the
And you see,
conditioning.
this
We're
is a
supposed to
Japanese.
respect our teachers.
Uh huh.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
Here's a
don't
Japanese
question.
one. This is Japanese. You see, this is Chile.
Right.
It's all the way the South America. It's almost touching. It's almost touching the lands here.
Almost touching
This is a Japanese.
like the hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
And this is
Yep.
from Japan. So we're seeing from all different cultures. They all are showing lands, extra lands. You see the details here. You see, here is right Antarctic incognite, like like unknown Antarctica. This is just the
Yeah.
name of the map. They put it there, but you see people, you see trees, you see animals, you see everything. You know, they will call, oh, it's
You think they really
fantasy.
could have made these maps on land?
Yeah,
Do you
is it a
think they could have
question?
made these maps from land, or do you think they did this from the air somehow?
Have to be air and land, but they have to know the presence of these lands. That's why it's there in different cultures showing the same thing. It's because
Right.
in all different cultures they are speaking about these extra lands, and these are not animated gif or memes, or these are real old maps. Okay, these, you see the details, you can't even get in the details. It's so much of information right there. Okay, here, this is South
They're really
America.
nice. They're really nice, Vika.
You see here the extra lands
These would
here.
be
You see
nice
the
to
whole
to look.
line here. Terra del Fuego,
Yeah.
Brasilia, Brazil.
You
You see,
know,
these are ancient
just
maps. They're,
barely
yeah.
touching. So I wonder if like I think it was Australia before that was touching. Maybe it's something
Yeah.
maybe like the
You
flood
see
kind
here,
of separated a little bit.
yeah. You see
Right,
here, all
right.
this part is missing right now, and you see Australia. It's Nova Holland. That's what they call this part in some time in this. I don't know which part of Poca this is.
Hmm. Makes me wonder if they
It
flooded it
is.
on purpose.
Yeah, again, see, check Rob. Again, Terra del Fuego.
Yes, there it is.
You see the line, the Tropic of Capricorn here. It's just between near Brazil.
That's pretty common. Tierra. Sorry, my boy's excited.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, that Tierra del Fuego. That's on both the African and Australian and South American. So that this is, in other words, that's a common expression. There is one common map making entity that knows that the outer land is Tierra del Fuego. There it is.
Uh-huh. That's good
It's common.
observation, Rob.
Exactly.
They all
Voila.
know it.
And exactly. And in some of our shows, I mentioned also that it's more easy to go from South America to Africa to the extra lands by these lands
Hmm.
than going towards crossing the Atlantic. It's much more near to go like this. You see, again, a lot of trees. You see till where it's reaching. It's almost reaching till Australia. You can see some houses here. It's like it's mentioned everywhere in all the ancient maps. Here you see the details here. Check this out. The details. Terra Australis. Okay, this is one of the point I wanted to say, that Australia is really kind of a gateway also in that part of the world, it's like a gateway to all these extra lands. Like in some of the meaning or definition of Australis or Austral was like something like a door in a way, of that part of the world. That's why Australia comes from that word, and it connects to these lands, or it's very near to these lands where it could start from this part. So it's crazy stuff, but we're gonna continue. The same thing here, the same map,
Yeah, look at that.
almost brilliant.
Wow.
Keith, you want to add something? Kevin?
I'm just sitting here thinking and looking at these maps, and I have no doubt in my mind. I mean, I can't go out there and prove it personally, but I have no doubt in my mind that they're hiding extra land out there, and not just out below the 60th South parallel. Even out in the Pacific Ocean is so huge. I imagine there's other land out there as well, much closer than we could even imagine.
That's a good point.
Yeah, good point there, Keith. At this point, who knows what's out there? We can't trust the maps we have. We have no idea what's really there.
It's also my understanding that the ships and the airplanes.
Can't trust the people that make the maps either.
That's my understanding. You guys probably know more
Keith,
than I.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, please, Keith.
It's my understanding the pilots and the captains of these ships, they have to stay basically on a highway in the sky or in the sea. They cannot deviate and go off course. And I would imagine the reason because they would find other continents or land masses out there that we don't know about.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
And also the pirates and also the pirates and everything. The wars from pirates from before could be for these extra lands. They don't want people to go. That's why they control so much the pirates. They have the coast, all the oceans. They're there. Oh, they don't want them, but they don't want anybody.
Yeah.
But they were behind pirates because they were looking for this land. They knew about these lands. So
yeah. There's reason to believe we still live under pirate law right now.
Maritime law, at least.
Money,
maritime law,
and currency. Right? No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's with the pirates claiming that kind of.
There are entire legal buildings designed to look like a ship.
Exactly.
Really?
Kevin, you want to add something?
Oh yeah, and if Kevin comes back on, I'll let him go. But Keith, it sounded like you didn't know that there are entire legal buildings that are shaped like a ship, because what do we have? Citizenship. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Partnership. You with me here?
Yeah, I did not know
that.
No, I did not know that.
Here's a little bit more. When we go into a courtroom, we have the plaintiff and the defendant. We got the two tables in there, right? To get in there, we have to go through it. We have to go through a little gate to get in there and stand and sit in front of the judge. Everybody remembers that, right?
Right.
Okay. So let me ask you, what does that gate signify? That gate signifies a gangway. Literally, when we go through that gate, we're walking onto a ship because it's maritime law.
Yeah,
we're going into their maritime law. Yes, exactly. And by the way, if anybody's ever interested, I've removed myself from that system, by the way, and I can share everybody else how to do it as well. It's called becoming a national. Anybody can do it in any country. We're literally extricating ourselves from their corporate system. If that's another topic that we can talk about, but that's already there. I'm in that process. Anybody else, I'll give you all the information I have via direct message.
Oh, Rob, let me know if you need help working that out, brother.
Absolutely. I'll pass you what I've got, and I'll tell you how to get anybody in any state. I'll tell you how to get in touch with your people there in that state. Maybe you've heard of a sovereign citizen. Sovereign citizen. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what Ronald Foreman was trying to.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the dude. He wrote a book on it.
The instruction
exactly right.
To sovereignty.
Yeah.
Yes.
the term sovereign citizen is inaccurate. Only the country, the state, is sovereign. But we as human beings, we can be. What it really means is we can be independent from their damn corporate governments, and they allow us to be. They allow us to be. It's completely legal. All we have to do is do the right paperwork and be a nice guy, right? Don't commit any crime.
Right.
Don't commit any fraud or crime. And guess what? Literally, we become untouchable by their corporate bullshit. We don't even have to obey their driving laws and driving violations. We can turn right on red if we want to, even though it tells us not to. You see what I'm saying? We could blow to a stop sign if there's nobody coming along.
Just like they do, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Just like they do when they feel like.
All right, guys.
We can't do anything to them.
All right,
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Sorry.
that's for some other day topic, guys. We know we had Ronald Farnham with that. How's the book called? Just so that the people know.
It's called the Solution.
It's called The Solution. Hold on. It's called The Solution, an Instruction Manual for Sovereignty and Freedom. It's by Ronald Farnham.
Awesome,
Ronald,
guys.
Farnham. Great guy.
So according to that topic, if you want to know, that book is really recommended by Ronald Farnham.
And anyone in the audience, if they want to find out, they missed that. Yeah, go back on Vika's Heliopsychosis page and you'll find it. He was there a couple months ago. We interviewed him. He's a really great guy. He will offer you any help you need filling that book out and getting it done.
Exactly.
There you go. Sorry, Vika.
Okay, so let's jump in again. So jumping on to going on with the map. And this map we all know about. It's one of my favorite maps. Kevin also knows. We all know it's Monte Urbano map. And this is the map which is the whole topic all about. Is Antarctica Treaty 500 years old? Why? Why could it be possible? Okay, the next image is, as I said, sometimes the information could be right in front of our face, but we won't see it. Sometimes it's there, but only when the time comes for it to know, you will really see it. All this information here, where the arrows are pointing to the extra lands, there are some letters written here. It's written, I think it is in Italian. Okay, so we continue. Okay, what do we see here? We see de la España. This means from Spain. This is de la Francia, from France. De la Germania, the Germany claiming like that. So this all goes around and is claimed by different countries and divided in
how many of
parts.
that?
Right, their own sector.
They're all
The Masonic division. The Masonic division, in other words, of Antarctica. There you go.
There's probably 33 of them there.
So
there you go.
So if this map is more than 500 years old, if this map is more than 500 years old, and this is already divided 500 years before, so how can be the Antarctica Treaty from past 60 or 80 years, 60 years ago? How is it possible?
Yeah, this is in water.
There you go. This is a valid question. If this map goes back that far, what's this Antarctica treaty all about? Looks like it's already there anyway.
Exactly. This is what I'm trying to get. That this is just a mock-up. This treaty is just a mock-up to show. Maybe they had some internal, like maybe they just got hot and they started fighting again, so they may have to make a new one. You know what I think so. During the Cold War, during the First World War, so maybe that was the whole fuss about.
Yep, re-solidify it to the public, in other words.
Exactly. So here it's.
By the way, guys, they did those operations down there. If you look up the word Dominic in the anywhere, it refers to the Lord. So Dominic and Fishbowl were in Antarctica, and it sounds like Fishbowl of the Lord. kind of interesting.
Of course, yep. By the name itself, yes.
And those are the little things all over the place. Those little Easter eggs,
Yep.
whatever.
Easter eggs.
Those are
yes.
things we have to all overlook constantly.
Yep.
Constantly overlook these things to write it off and not say, "Hey, what is really going on?" So
Right. Little Easter eggs hidden in plain sight. That's what Vika was talking about earlier.
right,
There it is in front of everybody,
yeah,
and nobody recognizes it because we're not taught to recognize it, but we don't recognize it for ourselves.
right.
But then again, somebody has the epiphany and shares it with everybody. That's why we're all here doing this talking, because we're seeking more. Finally.
And here, Rob, and here it says, maybe you can read it already in Spanish, but here is for the people who don't understand. There are some information also in some parts. No, here is written in Italian. In the
Los
same
habitantes
map,
de este país no. Okay.
No quiere comercio
It got
con
small on me.
forasteros.
There we go. No quiere.
Okay. Comercio con forasteros.
They don't.
Quiere su amistad.
It looks like forasteros. Does that mean foreigners? That's what it looks like. They don't want commercial. They don't want commerce from foreigners, and they don't want friendship. Yeah. And it's prohibited by law by their kings. By big penalty, and they are idolatrous, meaning they're pagans.
Right, but that's information about that part of people of that particular region. Okay, so there are different information is given about.
So there it is. It says bajo grandísima pena, means there's huge penalty for going there. There you go. That's the treaty, Antarctic Treaty, right there.
Even back then.
Yep, and here he's saying, en este país no está permitido que los extranjeros viven ahí, y todos son muy blancos y están desnudos. They is saying that in this country it's not permitted the foreigners living there, and everyone here is very white and are naked. And that part
really
means it's warm.
It's not cold.
It's not cold.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. If they're running around without coats on, then it's warmer than Utah.
So okay, we're gonna
unless you're the Iceman Wim Hof.
We're gonna be continuing this. One moment,
this is fabulous.
I'm gonna stop sharing screen. All right, so we're gonna take a short break and we're gonna come back and we're gonna just continue a bit more and to try to conclude everything because there's still a bit of things left. All right, guys. So if you want to add something before we take a break, anyone?
This is really awesome what you did here, Vika. It's a beautiful job.
Same here.
I love
beautiful.
These maps.
Love
are fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, very cool.
Connecting the simple dots, in other words, the breadcrumbs.
Awesome.
By the way, everybody, I just here's a quick segue out and back in. I was taking a walk with my boy yesterday, and I ran into a motorcycle mechanic, just next door neighbor, like quarter mile down the road. I told him, I said, look up in the sky. See that jet trail? It doesn't curve, does it? He says, yeah, you're right. Why not? I said, because the earth doesn't curve. He looked at me. He said, what? I said, if you think about a glass of water, it doesn't move either, does it? He says, yeah. And then little by little, I walked him through. He's a mechanic, so he understands. If things move, they move. But if they don't move, they don't move. He said this 3 times. He said, Rob, I can't believe it. No one's ever told me this before. I love it. Thanks, Rob. I got it. I'm on it. So there's someone else who picked up the reality from simple science, right? And then another guy on my street, too. So there's 2 guys just yesterday taking a walk with my boy. Beautiful.
Nice job, Rob.
Excellent. Wow.
Sharing the wealth, right? Yep. Sorry,
it's not easy to do that. People can't see it. What did you say to Alex the other day? Alex, there's 3 kinds of people: those who see things, those who see things when they're shown, and those who never see things.
Those who won't see
really true.
Yep.
Really, really true. You don't
Hey
get it
Kevin,
sometimes.
where
Sometimes it takes time, and some.
Kevin, where have you been, brother? You want to add something?
No, I'm just completely blown away with these maps you've been presenting. They are freaking
Yeah,
awesome. And I didn't know that you're the
yeah. We were,
1987 Planisphere had said that at the bottom of there. It's crazy to me. So you're completely confirming that, yes, the Antarctica Treaty did go back further than just 1958.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, or at least an earlier version of it. Yep. Meaning, when there's an earlier version of a treaty, we have to wonder, why did they remake it if it was already there? There's always a reason to reinstate the treaty.
Yeah, we're gonna be coming ahead. Yeah, it's coming ahead. What's gonna
We'll
why it
get there.
happened?
In other words,
All
yeah.
right.
this,
Just for everybody's sake, that is, I come from double master degree, 22-year military officer, and I did diplomat work in Africa. Their treaties are deliberate. There's absolute specific reasons for the treaty, and that's why I say that to reiterate a treaty. There's a specific reason for it, and Vika's taking us there. Love it.
Awesome, guys. So we're gonna
this
have
is
a
Rob.
short
Let me
break.
ask you something before we go.
Yep.
Is
Okay.
the current? Okay,
Go ahead, Ginny.
I catch you on the web. Well, I was wondering if this is the longest standing treaty
Oh,
around
of
in
course.
modern times.
Yep.
By
So every
far,
treaty's been
yeah.
broken. That,
Treaties are like
okay, I
handshakes
thought
on
so.
Sunday, and literally, I studied this at the graduate level. Treaties don't last more than a year, and in
Did
reality,
you?
countries do not follow treaties. They don't even follow treaties. So,
Yeah.
for this treaty to be
Nah,
still
they're all
intact
garbage,
since
right?
1958 defies
Right.
the
Hell
real
no.
world of international politics. It's an anomaly. Yes,
and it's
an extreme anomaly.
an
There you go.
absurdity.
Absurdity. And like the
I
globe and
thought so.
everything
Thank you,
else.
Rob.
Absolutely. Yeah. There you go. Thank you. Yep. It's all an absurdity. Thank you.
The
Yep.
Antarctica Treaty is like the biggest Area 51 ever.
Oh yeah. There is so much of this info and so much of so it's really hard to know exactly what's happening, but we think we have some idea, could be true. So let's continue with the show. So I'm gonna mention something here. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, because this some part of the investigations is also that from that part of the world of South America, because those are really closer to that part of the extra land. So there are legends and there are people trying to decode, and so I'm gonna add some points here. So let's see. So maybe some of the people in the chat or even in the panel maybe would not agree with this, but it's just to put it out there. It's not about who's right, wrong, or what. So let's continue with this. Someone says, I have solved the ball hoax and the 500 years of lies. I thought it was only NASA that lied to us, but all countries of the world are involved. It all started with the study of the map of Monte Urbano, 1544 to 1613, the map, more or less. So, in it, it has been seen that the ring that surrounds the Virgin Earth, the Earth was already divided into 36 parts, each part with the name of country like Spain, France, Germany, Chile, etc. They have known about the existence of this gigantic ring for more than 500 years, and they had already distributed it uh, between them. Now, I explain the wars of the pirate ships for the possession of these lands. They decided to hide those lands by changing the shape of the land from flat to spherical for religious, economic, or power reasons. Uh, can you mute your mic, Keith or Kevin, please? Okay, so they decided to hide those lands by changing the shape of the land from flat to spherical for religious, economic, or power reasons. They had to adapt all the maps to the globe, the calendars, to invent gravity and the heliocentric system, all to hide those lands in a false continent called Antarctica. Okay, so apart from the hiding the creator, this is supposed to be one of the biggest reason for the globe to come in the existence, is to hide those extra lands. Is one of the best ways, so okay. Step to Commander Admiral Byrd, adventurer in Antarctica, all misinformation. Neither Germans nor the UFOs. What happened was that the American army wanted to seize the land of the ring that belonged to Argentina and Chile. There was a battle. The Americans lost it. Now, if you read the Antarctica Treaty, everything makes perfectly sense. The prohibition to pass the 60th parallel is so that no one can see those lands. The means of transport have improved a lot. Anyone with a boat, a plane, a balloon could have discovered the deception. That is why anonymity between countries. They all have land to hide, thousands of millions of square kilometers. After World War II, the Cold War began, named after the Antarctic ring. All countries wanted the land. Two camps were formed, Americans and the Russians. With the signing of the Antarctica Treaty, there was peace. The Masons, the Jesuits, the deception is over. Okay, give me your feedback.
Yeah, the Mason Jesuits. Byrd said when he flew, I can't believe in this day and age there's still a land size the size of America over there. There's more over there. Birds fly, birds fly north also, kind of. They say birds fly south. They go north also. They don't tell us everything. We get little tidbits of things. We're figuring it out here.
Exactly. Rob, you want to add? Rob or Kevin or Keith?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a great idea for all of us and everybody that's listening to take this information and go out and do your own personal research and take your critical thinking with you when you do it. And like I love to say, don't fall victim of popular public opinion. Like, this is some very interesting information, especially for the flat earth movement. So I don't think it should be taken lightly. I think we should all, like I said, go out and do our own research on this topic. I love it, Vika. Thank you.
Awesome. I think Rob jumped out. Maybe you're going to join us back. Keith, you want to add something for the last things I commented?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. And I will share a little story just from yesterday. I have hundreds of flat earth conversations with people online every week. But I also have a lot face to face with people that, just strangers I meet. One of the guys I met yesterday, he works up at NAS Jacksonville, which is the Navy base up there. He's been in the Navy a long time. And I said, hey, can I ask you a personal question? Do any of you guys ever have flat earth conversations? He goes, no, we don't talk about that. I said, well, it's just interesting because it was a Navy guy who got me into it. And he said, he told you the earth was flat? And I said, yeah, basically. So we started talking, and he said, it wouldn't surprise me at all because they lied to us about everything. He said, I keep my head down, do my job, and collect my check, but they lied to us about everything. So, I mean, and I think that's one of the problems for a lot of people getting into flat earth is that it's so much bigger than just flat earth. It's basically everything. This entire system the system that we live in is completely upside down and backwards. Whatever they say, the opposite of that is usually true, whether it's medical or whatever else.
Keith, I know I see a great icebreaker there that you had. Is with the military was a great icebreaker. So when you said, a friend of mine said, a military guy told me you caught that guy's ear.
Yeah.
So that's what Flatten the Curve is just going to be tremendous. You're not stopping that documentary.
Right.
That's really a great job what you guys did. Yeah. No, that's a great end. You got to get a foot through the door. Somebody said before about having a friend introduce you as opposed to going in alone. It's always
And
good
there
to have
was
a friend. You know, when you
adding
go
to
to
that,
a lawyer or a doctor.
yeah, Jeannie, adding to that, somebody did comment on, even on the trailer, even before the documentary was released, somebody commented, just seeing the trailer, that he was excited that, wow, so many people from the
Mm.
army and the military coming forward. This is amazing, and this is the only way the truth could happen. Somebody said, like, there has to be a connection with
Yeah,
the army or the fort, because these are
yeah.
the people who are seeing the things
No.
happening. These are the ones, you know, and you need that
Yeah, the
influence.
instruments.
Like the
Yeah,
people,
no,
an educator or teacher is not going to come and save the world. Academic or scientific who will just taking money to grow himself is not going to come and save the world. It have to be
no, they got to protect
somebody.
the plaque on their wall.
Yes, there have to be somebody from that base of that profession, because it's all there, as also Keith mentioned. So
No, that's
we see if Rob can get
he's
back.
an enormous high caliber. I should call him.
Exactly. So I'm gonna share something. One moment. Let's see. Yep. All right. So we read that about Antarctica, right? So we're gonna continue. Now, if you go to Wikipedia, and here it says international conflict. Okay. Various international conflicts motivated the creation of an agreement for the Antarctica. After the Second World War, the US considered establishing a claim in Antarctica from August 26, 1946, and until the beginning of 1947, Operation High Jump was carried out, the largest military expeditionary force that the United States has sent to Antarctica to the present, consisting of 13 ships, 4,700 men, and numerous aerial devices. Its goal was to train military personnel and test material in condition of extreme cold for a hypothetical war in Antarctica. What hypothetical? These people were literally, like, almost fighting with Argentina and Chile. Here it goes. Some incident had occurred during the World War II, and the new occurred in Hope Bay on February. The Argentinian military fired warning shots at the group of Britons. The response to the UK was to send a warship that landed Marines at the scene on February in 1949. Argentina, Chile, and United Kingdom signed a tripartite naval declaration committing not to send warships south to the 60th parallel, which was renewed annually 1961 when it was deemed unnecessary when the treaty entered into force. The tripartite declaration was signed after the tension generated when Argentina sent a fleet of 8 warships to Antarctica in February 1948. So what the hell was happening in Antarctica? Why was Admiral Byrd there? What, to fight a war against the
I
Chilean Argentinians?
That's super suspicious.
never heard of that before.
This is there on
And
Wikipedia,
that's from
right there.
Wikipedia. Yeah, that's crazy. He never. I don't remember ever hearing him mention a war down there.
So the other thing what I was saying before, it really matches to this, that, and there was conflict was going on. There was again here on more faithful, the United Kingdom filed 2 lawsuits against Argentina and Chile, respectively, for the International Court of Justice, which is UN in short terms, to declare the invalidity of the claims of the sovereignty of the 2 countries over Antarctica and sub-Antarctica areas. Only July 15, 1958, the Chilean government rejected the jurisdiction of the court in that case. On the August, the Argentinian government also did so. Blah blah blah. Okay, so it's the same here. The international geophysical here, same. The conflict. It's all there. They actually what happened, as we were speaking about before, is the same thing. They had to redo it again because there were 12 main countries, and there were some officially claiming claims and some wanted the other part, so it was actually really about the extra lands. And the best part, okay, here it says the signing of the treaty was the first armed control agreement that occurred in the framework of the Cold War. Oh, very interesting. Everything happening all in the same time. You see, there's all these are countries are involved, but there are only 12 main countries who really run the show, and the most important being Argentina and Chile for sure, and there's Australia also because it's one of the most it claims, that it's near there, and you have Chile, you have Brazil unofficial,
Right.
France,
Location would have.
and Germany. Yeah, Germany is because we read that Germania it was written in Italia, in Italian, but it
Right.
even mentioned when East and West Germany became one, and it went as Germany. And here's
Does China have
historical
any?
claim.
What about China?
China, yeah, China, they're all new part. Maybe they're just there, like they don't have really a word maybe in it. You see, here is the Germany, New Swabi,
I'm just
you know,
curious. It sounds, it
Antarctic.
sounds like the biggest armies have claim down there. The biggest countries with the biggest armies. Is that right? No,
Yeah, and the
similar.
most near, for example,
Right.
Japan. You
Right.
see,
The location and the army
yeah,
sizes
yeah,
dictates what this list is right now.
exactly. And everybody's
Yeah.
involved up to some part,
Both.
but they don't have the word. They don't have so much power apart from these ones who really claim. Japan, historical claim.
Yeah. Right.
Why? Because they
Right.
here they are claiming. They claim that part of Antarctica is because they did an expedition in 1910, much more before.
Okay.
And like in the ship Kalian Maru was the first such expedition by a non-European nation. It was concurrent with two major Antarctic individuals led by respectively blah blah blah. So the same
Hmm.
thing. Norway claims.
Nothing with the Vikings, though. Oh, Mill. Well, there you go. Norway, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
Norway, yeah.
Because we said the same thing, same time almost.
South Africa,
Okay.
UK for sure, because it's all about colonizing. And so here we have it,
Wow.
people. There is no there is no doubt, that why is all the whole crap about this treaty is, it's
Yeah.
nothing is but to make people confused from the real thing, what's the reason and what's been happening in that part of the world, and why the people are not allowed, and everything connected to it. It's all a big huge disinfo. And according to this information, the whole globe model is for one of the main reason, apart from hiding the creator,
Mm.
is not people knowing what is that there is extra lands. There's lands everywhere, and there's so much more information with another cosmologies about so much detail that they speak about these lands and the kind of people that live in, and their heritage and their kings and their descendants, and so much
Yeah.
info that your mind gets blown. So
The globe offers what they're looking for is that limited everything. Everything is limited on a little globe flying around in emptiness. You know that, right? And that's not what it's not what we really have. And this is part of that, because there is more. We don't know because people stuck on a globe. And that's a great way to limit everything. Put us on a little ball flying around in emptiness. Nothing further from the truth.
yeah, because it's easy to have a imaginary prison than to show the exact shape of the earth, because everybody
Mhm.
wants to gonna become an Indiana Jones or a pirate and go and explore, and you say I'm gonna go and
Right. Yeah.
it's the best way. There's nothing. You go around, you come around. There's nothing, and it's easy. You think there are people in some part of the world that even if it's that cold or that isolated, forget about if it's not even cold. It could be more dry than anything or rigid. But imagine being away from the civilization, just patrolling what? you
Yeah.
know Walls what? Mountains what? Maybe you are having 50 kilometers, you would have a one station where you have somebody there. You cannot really control this. It's just they just take out 90%, 95% of the people just off that, by just saying it's a ball.
Yeah. And look at where
and
the ball
and
starts.
all this.
It starts in the crib. So it's a hard thing for us
Exact.
it's a hard thing for us to combat. and it's a hard thing for the people we're trying to show to even get it, even really look. Come to the fence and just look, right? That's all we're trying to do, guys. Check this out because this is your world. We're trying to help.
Exactly, and all the images and everything, all the maps and all the information, it's right there. I didn't write Spain, France, Italy by myself. It's there 500 years
Right.
ago, written there, that it's been divided and it's been in control. And those 12 who really control are their people who, or how you say, their generations who've been controlling through these people, through these countries, really control that nobody goes out, nobody knows about this land, and that this information doesn't go on. Everything needs to be chaotic and disinformation about the same thing. So that's why it's Admiral Byrd and all that crap and all that Operation High Jump and all that UFO and all that, I don't want to say the word, the German attempt there. So it's all just, and the hollow earth, it's all just to create more and more and more disinfo than to get the right what is really happening there. And this, in today's show, we try to make it at least a bit clear that what is and what was or what is been happening all this time. So
you could. It reminds me of the space race between the USA and Russia was won by the Germans, kind of in a weird way, with Operation High Jump and Operation Paperclip, right? Because that's when the war was over, and we won, right? And the United States won that war, right? Is that what they say? And we took like 1,800 or so of those guys from that group over there. And we brought them over and placed them in 1945 and placed them in all the colleges all over the place and certain businesses and places of importance. So, and that's what we're falling under now. These guys took charge of all this a long time ago.
Because they were smart, they were intelligent, and they were able to run things. That's
so
the reason.
true, Rob. Right? They look at, I mean,
by the way,
I don't know if you ever heard it put that way, but it's true.
I will tell you, I'm speaking from General Patton observed this. The U.S. Army moved General Patton out of command because they didn't want him to have the glory of conquering Germany and moving into Berlin first. So they moved him out of combatant command, and then after the armistice, they placed General Patton as military governor of Allied control of West Germany. Okay? So what he observed immediately was just what I told you. These German people, they're good, they're intelligent, they know what they're doing. That's the words of General Patton. Okay. That's before they assassinated him, because he figured out that. Go ahead.
Rob, did you hear the last 10 minutes that I was mentioning something, or you were jumped out?
No, I was off, Vika. Can you give me a synopsis of it? My mom called, my parents called. I haven't talked to them for a week, so I had to come back in. Please give me a synopsis.
No, I just had many things. I was last 10 minutes I was saying. Well, I read some things about Antarctica, the war, and Chile, Argentina. That also you missed. So
yes, I did. I'm gonna have to go back and recapture that.
Okay, so the rest of the panel did so, and like it's mentioned in Wikipedia about these conflicts with Argentina and with Chile, and so what and during the Cold War and before the First World War. So all these things was happening in that period of time during that Antarctic treaty was renewed in a way from that 500-year-old treaty was renewed in that time of the year, because that conflicts happened between Argentina, Chile, and UK and US and the rest, and for those extra lands. And
it sounds like what you're telling me diplomatically. After they shook everything up with the World War II, they literally, this is the reason they reiterated everything, was to lay everything back out certainly after the shakeup of the World War. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So I think Jeannie and Kevin and Keith did heard me. So what are your thoughts on this? Anyone, Kevin? Jeannie?
It's new information to me, Vika. But again, that makes perfect sense. You're starting to put pieces of the puzzle together, and it's just we live in a reality that has been staged. We have controllers that, we live the way I like to say it as a joke, but serious at the same time, is that we live on a free-range tax farm. And
Yeah,
Exactly.
you said it.
You're right.
so, I mean, and I think
You said it.
for me personally, what I'm trying to do, and it's so hard, is I'm trying to live on the outskirts of the system and eventually escape the system because it's so evil at every turn. But
Well said, Keith.
Oh yeah.
Well said.
Oh
It
yeah.
is.
That's where the Ron Farnham's solution comes in. We literally can extricate ourselves from their system and live as a private national. We can do that. We just have to do it properly.
Exactly.
If you
Kevin.
guys brought that up in the show 2
Oh,
weeks
go ahead.
ago
Yeah.
about the fake birth certificate.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The birth certificate, social security number, that's
Yeah,
the
it's
that's the
fraudulent.
slave that's the slave collar around our neck. We don't even see it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Kevin. Kevin, your thoughts on what we mentioned a bit.
I'm just absorbing the information. This is incredible. Like the timeline, like you said, is just making perfect sense now. Connecting the dots like Keith is for sure.
And Kevin, we talked about timelines of history last night.
We sure did.
When we look at timelines, literally 2 points on a timeline will make all the sense as long as we understand what's going on.
For sure. Vika just broke it down. Like I'm kind of blown away right now. So
Yep.
I don't like to speak on things I don't know. So I'm kind of just like I need to bite my own words and do my own research on the subject.
Here's an example from last night. Just to segue out and back in. Last night, Kevin and I, this is my own observation. Historical timeline. World War I kicked off in 1914. Okay? However, 1913, December 23rd, 1913, Woodrow Wilson signed, in the U.S. president, signed the Federal Reserve into law.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
You with me here?
That's the
Meaning
day he sold us out.
Exactly, okay? In other words, they did not kick off World War I against Germany, Russia, and the Ottoman Empire until they had full control over the U.S. industry. There you go. 2 points. Tell you that
book,
story.
The Creature from Jekyll Island.
There you go. That's
Creature
it.
from Jekyll
Read that
Island
book.
is a good version.
And
yeah, Griffin. Yeah, that guy is awesome. I think his name is
G.
Griffin.
Edward Griffin.
Oh, you know what?
G.
As a
Edward
matter
Griffin.
of fact, my friend that I was talking about a little while ago with the 70 cents taxed on every dollar in your pocket already. He was the one who told me about Griffin. He's like, "Hey, you ever heard of this book?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, what is this? What is he talking about?" He's like,
And
"Yeah, I just got it, never read it." And then
I'm speaking from
he
2
blew my mind
master's
with that
degrees.
book.
Speaking from 2 master's degrees, I read 3 pages of that book, and I folded up any other book that I've ever read, and I rebuilt history in my mind, starting with reading that book. Okay, so any researcher knows the impact of what I just said.
That's amazing.
I literally 2 master's degrees. I wadded it up and put it back on the shelf, and then I thought, this is what I've been looking for. It ties everything together. It'll knock your socks off. Okay, so there's that book, and then you got to read The Myth of German Villainy. Read those 2 books together, then you'll get a PhD.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
I got
PhD on world history and economy.
He's listening.
Yeah,
He
there
could
you
be
go.
listening right now. Yeah.
So the 2 books again, The Creature from Jekyll Island, that's on economy, and then, or actually that's on economy and military, and the other book is The Myth of German Villainy. That's about politics and military. Notice military throughout. Okay, the Romans.
Yes.
So what I was saying, what I was saying, Rob, also is that that in the end, why was all this hype about everything about Admiral Byrd, and he's giving us limited information, and he being the puppet, and all these things happening around in this time? So why was this whole craze for, to make the people more confused and that the people
Yeah,
don't go as, and you were not there, that we mentioned that the real reason for the globe to come in existence was this reason, and the Antarctica Treaty, which has been running from 500 years old, from the time of globe. If you really dig in, I have already researched it. That is in the more or less is 500 years when how they started pushing in the globe. So it's
right.
all just also
1500,
causing.
1500,
Oh yeah,
Mika.
right.
Yes,
The
Yeah,
timing
with
is great.
with
yeah,
Copernicus. There it is.
Aristarchus of Samos.
yeah.
There you go.
My question
So
is, how did I don't really think there's a separation between these guys backstage. I think they're all unified, so I don't understand the war. Maybe I think they're all fake right now. So why wouldn't that one be?
exactly,
There you
Well,
go.
exactly.
Really,
I can
that's
tell you
that's
this.
that's a
I can tell you this to answer that, Jeannie. Germany,
what's that? Right.
all you're absolutely right about that, Jeannie. All countries are Masonic and they're all part of the same Luciferian system. However,
Right.
there is no overarching authority among them. So if one
No,
discovers
they're
a massive
squabbling.
gold, if one country discovers a massive gold mine, well, obviously
Yeah.
they're going to get very wealthy at everybody else's expense.
Okay.
Okay,
Really?
here's
So they
what.
will squabble over the newfound riches?
Absolutely. There's no honor among
Okay.
thieves. Okay,
Okay. All right.
okay. What? Okay.
Okay.
Number one. Okay, and number two,
Jeez.
the first lesson to learn about international sovereignty is that among countries. Think about this. This is obvious. Among countries, is there any overarching authority among countries? Meaning, of all the countries of South America, is there any country that's in charge of everybody? No, there's not. You see where I'm going?
I,
So,
if I had a guess, I'd say the United States. They got the
well,
most military
that's
bases
because
of anybody.
because they've got power. They got military power over everybody else. You see where I'm going?
England has the money, and
And Rome has has the ring.
Rome has
Well,
the
the
religion.
Vatican.
Right?
The Vatican, right? The Jesuits. Okay, Rome is Vatican is the historical seat,
Yeah.
right? Of the at least the Vatican world order. Okay, so let's talk about that. There was the Roman world order transferred to the Vatican world order. Okay, and then it went to the Spanish world order,
Right.
and then the Holland world order, and then the English world order, and it still is to a large extent the English world order, and now it's the U.S. world order, the NWO, the New World Order, to replace the Vatican world order. You see where I'm going? So that's what you're referring to when you say that, Jeannie.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah. Right.
So
Wow. But what
All
did
right,
what did
all right.
Christopher Columbus set off to go discover the New World?
yeah,
It's old.
exactly. The New World Order.
This is old
The
school.
the first lesson.
But
Back
it's
to it.
interesting. It's an interesting thing also, because it could be a part of this, that it's a new world and everything else is unknown. It's just to make the people that is all unknown, but it's all been mapped. It's all
Of course.
Right.
mapped.
It's a new world.
Yeah, it's no different. It's no different than the Phoenicians, who controlled the sea trade of the world. The Phoenicians are the one that invented the myth that if we sail too far out, we'll fall off the edge, because they didn't want people to compete with them in their sea trade. It's just another myth. The globe is another myth, right? It's just another myth by the people in control, right? The new world versus the old world? No. So here's another one. This is what I was getting at earlier. The first lesson to learn when we study international politics is that there is competition at the international level. There is no overarching power at the international level that countries have to report to. In other words, there is no kindergarten headmaster, or there's no teacher, there's no principal over all the countries.
Rob,
There's competition.
Rob,
They're all competing with each other.
Exactly, Rob. That's why I was mentioning before that in the Antarctica Treaty, there are countries who are claiming the ownership, and that's why it was all these conflicts before, because there was. Because there
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
I missed
Mika,
that.
you know what that does? In 1958, well, really 1961, when they signed it, you know what that did? That removed all of the deeds that all these other countries had. Nobody owns any of it now.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. That
Exactly.
is huge. That's bigger than big. That's monumental. But you know what? Nobody has claim to it, but you know what? They probably got a percentage. How about that? They don't have a claim to it, but they got a percentage. How about that?
Check
Because
this.
that's the
I
new
was
world order,
I'm
right?
just gonna show. I'm just gonna show it again a little bit. You see that there are all these countries who are involved, but out of these, there are 12 countries who claim, like Argentina, who's very near Australia. These are the oldest people who really claim the Antarctica because they are near the border. The France, the Germany, the historical claim, as I said before,
Right,
even not
right,
the
right, right, right.
Japan.
Yeah.
Japan claims these are historical because they did their expedition in 1910. So there are different. Norway because of the Viking, how Ginny said. South Africa,
Okay.
it's United Kingdom, UK. So there are these countries who are really the ones who run the show about this treaty, who used to run, and all the names that we mentioned before from the Urbano Monte. So all these ancient ones whose names were there, they ones really run the show. So all these rest of the people are just there, like collaborating for the sake of humanity. They don't
Yeah.
have no word. They don't have any word in there. If really something go bad again about this treaty, these are the 12 countries who are gonna really make the moves. So this whole idea of Antarctica and the whole show that what we did, we read the Antarctica treaty the first, when it happened and everything. We saw all the maps with most of them showing the extra lands, and these are all ancient maps, and also Murbano Monte. Then we saw the names of the countries being so all the maps, So, and then we saw again the Antarctica Treaty, and also some things I mentioned about, and the war, what happened, and what is being said in Wikipedia about this war. So all this conflict and all the disinformation is there. So it's right there, guys. It's for the people to ponder and make up their own mind. You could bring truth the way you could. My English is not the most perfect, but yeah, in a way we try to communicate, and the people could do their own research from here on about this subject. But we did can see it very clearly what is the reason why they don't let people go Antarctica, and why this has been happening, and why the globe came into existence. So I
Yeah,
hope
there
you
you go.
guys really enjoyed it, and we're going to have some last thoughts on this, and we're going to be wrapping up, guys. It's almost 1 hour 40 minutes. So who wants to go first?
Vika,
If
I'll
you
go
don't
first.
mind.
What? Who's it? Vika, I just want to say thank you for putting this together. And you've actually given me a lot of homework stuff I need to go research myself now, and just the work that I'm getting ready to do and present myself. But I did want to share one last thing, and it kind of ties in because I've always wondered, why would Admiral Byrd be put out there on TV to say, hey, there's a piece of land out there as big as North America and it's never been explored, when he's military, he's government, so at some level he's a puppet, and he's reading a script and telling people what he's been told to tell them. So it never made sense to me. But now some of the things you're sharing, you realize it just makes me realize there's more there that I did not know at all. So I want to say thank you for putting the presentation together and bringing that out. And I wanted to share with you one other conversation I had last week or the week before. I was at someone's house, and the guy started talking, and he started talking some conspiracy stuff. And I just asked him, I said, man, what did you do? Who did you work for? Because he was retired. He said, I worked for NASA for 20 years. And I said, no way. He goes, yeah, I did 20 years. I'm done there. And I said, well, let me ask you this. Is NASA, because I know friends who talk about NASA. Well, we talk about it all the time. Is NASA legitimate, or are they fraudulent? And he said, well, it's both. And I'll tell you why. Because what they do at Cape Canaveral and launching those rockets, he said, that's all fraudulent. That's a show. But what they
Bermuda
do on the
Triangle.
military side, I feel like that's what Admiral Byrd was doing. He was saying, "Hey, look over here. You know, yeah, we went down there to the bottom of the world and stuff." But Admiral Byrd was doing down there in that time frame. You know, maybe they were trying to divvy up the lands, or lay claim. Maybe certain countries were laying claim to certain parts of the land down there. But he was coming up and giving people a different story than what was really going on in Antarctica when he was there. Just like NASA saying, "Hey, look, we're going to go to Mars. We're going to go back to the moon." But in the meantime, they're using millions of dollars every day for some kind of black ops or some kind of military operations that we have no clue about.
That's well said.
Definitely. Wow. I'll go ahead if you don't mind,
Perfect.
guys.
Well,
Yeah, and
remember,
it's also
we've got the exoteric and the esoteric. Always. It's all Masonic and all Luciferian, right? In other words, what we see on TV, that's the exoteric. That's the garbage Mickey Mouse version. What's really going on, okay, we have to research that. So that fits the pattern.
exactly.
Anyways,
And what
I
I
just
wanted to
had
add, yeah, 1 minute, Kevin. What you said, Keith, was this, that all this makes so much sense. And also, if you see that NASA was invented in somewhere in that date also, so it really shows that what NASA is playing a part in hiding that Antarctica and all this thing about Antarctica with the satellite connected to it and all the, all the imaginary
Exactly.
the images.
Exactly.
So it's all just plays in, yeah.
And all the weather balloons that they allegedly launched down there as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's just connects the dots. Okay,
12
Kevin, go
million.
ahead.
They have $12 million suits.
Yeah, no worries. So my first buddy just rolled
Allegedly.
up, so I'm gonna finish getting ready for our meetup / gathering. But I
Yeah.
do greatly appreciate all the information you guys relayed. Sorry I didn't
Happy
have
birthday,
too much
Kevin.
input. Thank you so much, Jeannie.
Happy birthday,
Doug,
Kevin.
Rebecca.
Happy
Thank you, Rob. I
birthday.
appreciate you guys so much. Keith, thank you for being on the show. Until next time, shout out to Jesus Christ, the way, the truth, and the life. Peace, guys.
Yes, Jesus
Awesome.
Christ.
Pretty good, brother.
Yahweh, Yahusha, Jehovah.
Jeannie, go
Yes.
ahead.
Oh, guys, great to be back here. I tell you, I took a lot of notes. I'll be checking stuff out. That was really amazing presentation, Vika. Those maps are really awesome. I'd like to maybe get some copies and check those out. They were beautiful. Happy birthday to Kevin again. Keith, it was great to see you. Hopefully you'll be back again. You had some great input, and we have a lot to think about after this show. Hope everybody out there enjoyed it. And Rob, I love seeing you again, always, buddy. It's just great to be here, you guys. This is an all-star cast, crushing the globe. I hope everybody enjoyed the show.
Awesome, Jeannie. Thanks for being here. Thanks, Keith. Rob, go ahead. Rob, are you still there?
I'm still here. I lost. I think we all lost it for a little bit.
Okay, last thoughts.
And Jeannie, did you have any more? Is that all for you?
Any more what?
Your voice trailed off. I was just asking, is that the end for you?
Nah, just saying thanks to Vika. That was an amazing presentation, and it was great to see you guys again. Thanks for all the input, and I hope everybody in the audience had fun, took some notes, and come back with some new stuff next week. It's great to be here. It was a pleasure. Thanks for the invite and putting this all together, Vika. And good to see you guys again.
Awesome, brother. It's always great to have you too.
Thank you.
Rob.
And
you know what? One thing I keep forgetting. Hey, let me throw this in really quick.
Okay, go ahead, Gene.
Last I heard, if anybody wants to say, you can take trips down to Antarctica. Yes, you can. Absolutely. It costs a fortune to get a boat there, like a cruise ship. And there's just several different ones, but they all link back to one certain family, as far as I know. And that was science advisors to Obama's wife.
And they all go to the same places. And
Right,
you're locked, and you're not going on your own. You're going to their canned locations, their chosen locations. Yes.
Very, very, very limited. And I just thought I'd throw that in. Because, and look at where it goes. Right back to the suits. And
to the suits.
Those
the
guys.
men in black, right?
So, Yeah, and you can look up his science advisor and see his name and never think anything because I think it's his wife's maiden name. So, and that's what they do. They change names. They do this. So it's hard to
Right.
connect that stuff. You don't see it. They're not like, hey, look at this.
There you go. They keep it in the family, but we don't know the family. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Coolio. Rob, last thoughts?
Okay, yes. I want to touch on one thing, back to the fact that from what it looks like to me, is that the Antarctica Treaty removes any specific ownership of any country back to those little cone-shaped areas that say de la Francia, de la España, de la Hollandia, right? It looks like the Antarctica Treaty removed all of that, so made it blanket non-ownership. Okay, obviously the historical claims still exist, but you know what it does? It places Antarctica under NWO ownership, New World Order ownership. In other words, back to the point of international sovereignty. There's open competition in international sovereignty. Whoever's got the biggest stick, which is by far the U.S. right now, they're going to make the rules. And so what they've done is they've rechartered all the deeds down there. They've rechartered all the ownership down there. Okay, obviously the historical claims still exist. However, the big stick, the holder of the big stick, may or may not recognize those ancient deeds. You see where I'm going? Because that's an old world order. They're under the new world order now. Okay, you see where I'm going?
Hollywood is
so
the
that was the whole
that
was the whole reason to make the new treaty, to make everybody show what's happening, who are the ones who are making the moves.
Yep.
That makes perfect sense.
That's right. Wow. Here's how we're the mafia in charge now. Here's how we're doing business in Antarctica. Here you go. Like it or not, here it is. Kiss the ring, and if you don't, we're going to give you democracy. Our style, right? Okay.
International chess.
Of course, exactly. That's what it is. And gentlemen, I've been studying this since 1991. Literally, I've lived in 4 different war zones. I've walked in 4 different war zones. I've read books and books and books that are not in the schools. And I studied at West Point, which is a pseudo international relations degree and history degree, along with my engineering. And then my 2 master's degree was all about this very topic, all about it. So, and not that I know everything, but I've got some good experience in this, right? And what Vika's saying is exactly what I've studied for the last 30 years. Now, Gene, I'm going to answer your question. Why did everybody gang up on Germany? Okay, because here's what happened. Here's another question. Why did everybody gang up on Napoleon? Okay, that's an equally valid question. You see where I'm going? Why did the world order gang up on Napoleon from between 1800 and 1815? Here's why. Napoleon outlawed fake currency. Napoleon mandated hard currency, gold, okay? And he outlawed usury. Napoleon redrew, okay? Let's call this the Napoleonic world order, allowed the common man to compete in business. And that's why everybody still loves Napoleon.
So that's why they Kennedy'd him.
Exactly. Okay, because Napoleon's world order, Napoleon was not from mainland France. He was from Corsica. Remember that. Okay? Napoleon's father was more a General George Washington type figure in Corsica than George Washington ever was in the United States.
Huh.
And
okay,
France. Okay, the France was also a player. Is one of the main countries who
big claims, industry, absolutely,
and claims a part of Antarctica, like
okay,
more than anyone.
Yes,
de la
the
Francia. One of the 12.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's why they all ganged up on Napoleon, got rid of him. All the corporate owners forced France back into a slave debt fiat economy and removed all of Napoleon. Okay, and then they went to Mexico. Okay, then they went to Mexico And then they went to the United States in 1860 with Abraham Lincoln. It's the same story. You with me here?
That's when it happened.
Got it?
Yeah, the Civil War was not what they think.
The Industrial Revolution was more or less the big boom was 1840, 1850 in England. And so all the money people are looking at this and saying, oh my gosh, the Industrial Revolution is here. Where did the cotton for the Industrial Revolution come from? From the southern U.S. states. Okay, so then they go and they fake a war and crush all the southern states so they could claim it for themselves.
Right.
You see where I'm going? Okay. Now, then they went to Spain in 1898. They got rid of Spain so they could seize the Philippines. By the way, the reason for the Spanish-American War was not about Spain. It was about the Philippines, so the U.S. could claim the Philippines. You with me here? That's what all these damn wars are about, okay?
Yeah.
Now,
Rob, we're gonna be wrapping up. So if you want,
okay, last little bit.
Yeah.
Now let's go to Germany. Between 1870 and 1906, Germany had industrialized to the point they were 200 years more advanced than Britain and France and the U.S. combined. In other words, if the world order had not destroyed Germany, everybody in the world would be speaking German, and the world order would be German. Germany had surpassed Rome by 1906, which is why they invented World War I and World War II to destroy Germany. There's your answer, Jeannie.
Old world
Read those
order.
2 books. It would have been the German world order. They had a new world order.
I said old
Jeannie,
world order.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
Germany had surpassed. Which country makes the best technology now in the world?
Absolutely.
There it is.
100%.
There you go, my friend.
You
Enough
know,
said. Creature from Jekyll Island, Myth of German Villainy. Read those 2, PhD on everything.
Yes.
This is my specialty, by the way. Yeah.
All right.
Along with Flatter and Vika. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for being on the show, guys. So I hope the audience really liked the show because we try to put it the best way we could in a presentation. It was one of our first show where we were doing screen sharing, and we tried to present it to be as clear as possible, you know. So we tried our best, and yeah, it's for the people to make up their own mind and ponder and look into it, you know. So there are possibilities that we saw that why the hell all this information about Antarctica is, and why we cannot go there, and why that this treaty is not just 60 years old, you know.
Because the world order has a new ownership down there. There's a new big dog and removed everybody else's rights.
Exactly. So thank you, guys, and do check out next week for our next show. And yep. See you guys soon. This is Vikas Raziv signing out from Hero Psychosis. Bye. Bye, Rob. Bye, Jeannie.
Yep. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Nice talking to everybody. All the best.
Yeah.
Good to see everybody. Good night, everyone.
Until next week. Okay. Thank you. Goodbye.
Ciao.
There was a documentary just put out yesterday, a good one, by the way, people should check out, called Flatten the Curve, by a bunch of pilots and military people. You know, that's our term. That's our flat Earth term.